Sarah here, and I remember a time not long ago when my Sundays were dictated by scripture, my beliefs by dogma, and my spiritual world felt incredibly small. Every prayer was structured, every doubt suppressed. Then everything shifted. For Izzy, it was a quiet pull towards her ancestors. For me, it was the undeniable call of intuition, guiding me away from the familiar and into the unknown. We both ended up in places we never expected, trading hymns for hexes and sermons for spirit work.
Welcome to Just Another Statistic, hosted by Sarah and Izzy. This is where we lay bare our deconstruction from Christianity and our vibrant, sometimes challenging transition into witchcraft and personal spirituality. We're here to share the blueprint of our spiritual rebuilding, one honest conversation at a time.
Whether you're someone who diligently attended church for decades, or you've always felt a magnetic pull towards something other, this podcast is for you. We'll explore the hows and whys of our journey, discussing everything from finding new community to understanding ancient practices and navigating family dynamics. Our goal is to connect through our stories, acknowledge that while our paths are unique, the quest for authentic spirituality is an universal human experience. Join us as we explore the rich tapestry of spirituality beyond the statistics.
Before we begin, we want to share a brief but important note. To protect the privacy and identities of everyone involved, we will not be using the real names of peoples or churches in our stories. We also want to acknowledge that every story has at least two sides, and what you're about to hear is simply our story, sharing our experiences from our unique perspectives. We've dedicated a lot of time to healing from these experiences and will continue this journey, and we sincerely wish nothing but love and light for all the individuals whose paths have intersected with ours. Starting everybody off strong so they know we're dyslexic.
Welcome to the dyslexic corner.
Yeah. We tried to make it like as readable as possible, but we can only do so much.
But we'll fight through it, y'all. We'll fight through it.
Yeah. All right. Episode 2, why young women are leaving the church more than ever. We thought this would be a good jump off from our last story because, again, it gets twisted up in all those statistics. So we're going to talk about an article written by Emily Brown earlier this year. She wrote it March 18th, 2025, called Why Young Women Are Leaving the Church More Than Ever. It's published to Relevant Magazine, which I believe is a Christian magazine.
I believe so. I should have done a little more research on that one.
Yeah. But we're going to kind of go over her claims in the article as to why women are leaving the church.
And just as women ourselves, why, if we agree or disagree, or even putting another layer to it.
Yeah, I feel like she got real close with a lot of it, but it's still, I felt almost blamed women for leaving the church. So,
in a weird little roundabout, backhanded way.
Yes.
Very much.
We're also not sponsored by Starbucks. Sarah just works there, so.
No.
So I guess kind of sponsored by, but
not through my own money, but not really.
For those of you who are just listening, we both have iced coffees here. So anyway, so her first argument is shifting gender roles and feeling voiceless. And the claim kind of is that, like, as strong focus is on raising young men as leaders in the church, it's left many women feeling voiceless and unsure of their place within the church's mission. I know I particularly felt this way, especially after everything happened. With it's a story we'll tell you guys another time, but pretty much a young man in the church wanted to date me. I wasn't interested. He kind of took it to a stalker level. We ended up having to go to the church for help. They made the claims of helping at first, and then it really just turned into like blaming me for leading him on, which I never did. And then just excommunication after that. But like one of the big things was like I wanted to lead the youth group, the high school girls. I wanted to do Bible studies and I wasn't allowed to because of I feel that situation.
I think that was part of it.
For sure. And they put him in leadership training to be a pastor. So that was kind of like a slap across the face after everything else that happened. So I know that this specifically I have felt. You kind of had a position in the church. How do you?
I mean, when we were in church number 1, it was always put on to like, you're in a leadership role, so this is how you should spend your time. And as, an example of your faith in Christ, that kind of thing. Like I think I was kind of pushed into a leadership role because my older brother was in leadership also at the same church when he was there. And then when he left, I kind of became the one of my family that took up that role.
Yeah.
And it was, I know in the later years, I was very much like, I felt like free labor.
Yeah.
In the student ministry and how I voiced that. So I know like,
yeah. The church definitely used us as free labor a lot because I got stuck in the in the nursery a lot all the time to babysit.
Yeah.
So, I remember the church that we went to when I was in high school with my parents, the youth group. That place was insane. But I remember the youth pastor, they always made like the boys read the Bible verse for the evening and then pray for the group. Like one of the boys always had to do that. And they were having like they always had like a hard time getting the boys. Like it was like pulling teeth trying to get those boys to want to volunteer to pray for everybody for the night. And it wasn't like we were a big youth group at all. There was maybe like 15 to 20 kids depending on the night. And I remember like I had asked, I was like, I'll read and I'll pray. And I got told no. Because the men are supposed to be the leaders of the church. And the thing that he said to me, the youth pastor said to me that I'll never forget is he's like, if I start letting girls do it, I know the girls are going to step up and do it. And then the boys are never going to want to do it again because they don't have to. And I don't know. I know like that kind of gets rephrased a lot as like back to the Garden of Eden of like the woman wanting to be in the position over the man, which is again out of context, but I feel like that's the argument that's used a lot because so many women are willing to step up.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I don't know.
I mean, like, I can understand to a certain extent of being like, yeah, we want the boys to be able to do that, but to squish the willingness of a female of doing the same thing, not cool.
Yeah. I feel like it just made me feel like my faith and devotion was less valuable
Yeah.
than the boys' faith and devotion.
I think as being like a student leader, I don't think I ever felt pushback until later down the line. And it was actually the parents that were like, these guys don't have any life experience.
Mhm.
So why are they teaching my kids?
Yeah.
And I was like, can you come teach your kids?
Yeah.
But I think that's when it started. Like, I felt a little bit different, I
Mhm.
would say, because I was one of the only Black people in that ministry,
Right.
for one. And I know the parents looked at me like, what is this Black girl doing teaching my children?
Yeah.
You know, it wasn't blatantly said, but there was that feeling there.
The microaggressions were there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and I think that's just like another layer to it that doesn't specifically go for like women. I think all young people in the church experience it, especially those of us who are raised in the church. Is like when we're hitting 20, 25, 30, we've been a Christian for 20, 25, 30 years.
Yeah.
But it's taken us so much less valuable than an adult who's been a Christian for 5 years.
Yeah.
And that was always something that really bugged me and I felt was insulting.
Oh, yeah, because they're like, you don't have life experience. You don't know my story.
Yeah, but then it's like if we try to go and get life experience, the way that they are framing it, which it's like, oh, you haven't sinned, therefore you don't know. And it's like, well, but the second I sin, you're going to tell me that I'm a fuck up.
Yeah. That you're going to, that we're going to go to hell.
Yeah.
We can't teach your kids because we're being a bad influence now.
Yeah. And it's just like, and my parents do it still to this day all the time where they're like, well, you knew better. Because my parents weren't Christians until their 30s and then raised us in it. And so their excuse always is like, we know better. We know better. And it's like, yeah, but you don't value my opinion until I sinned. And then you were like, oh, okay, you kind of understand what I'm talking about now. It's a weird mind trip. And I feel like they'll just do anything to silence younger voices.
Oh, yeah.
So,
yeah, for sure.
So that's how I feel about shifting gender roles. But yeah, I think there is definitely a disproportionate wanting to train young men and young women.
Even though in the Old Testament it was
Bible school always weirds me out. Like, I know your mom talks about it a lot, but I'm like, you went to Bible school as a woman. Like, they don't care that you have that degree.
No.
You're supposed to graduate and then get married and never use it. Like
yeah, like my mom went to Bible school and or Bible college, and I was like, what were you? I don't even know what she was actually going for, but I was like, she left before she graduated, but she was like, I said, what are...
When she realized it was just a scam, pretty much.
There was a lot going on there that was like, she was like, okay, I'm done. I'm going home.
Yeah.
We're getting this. But like, it's true. Like, women, we want to be theologically trained, just like the guys are. But yet, the second we get out of college, we're supposed to be starting a family.
Yeah. Well, and a lot of the girls that I've talked to who are in Bible college, it's just like an extension of finding, it's like that hiatus, because in modern times, it's kind of weird to get married at 18 now, even though a lot of them still do. So they like go to Bible college and it's like them meeting their husbands. Like, that's kind of what I feel like it's for.
Oh, yeah.
and then like they have these degrees that are on the same level as these men, but they're not. I mean, in most churches, I've been in a few where they do allow female pastors, but for the most part, women are not allowed to be pastors.
If you look at it, if a female is allowed to be a pastor, what is she allowed to do? She's allowed to do women's conferences.
Mhm.
She's allowed to do women's Bible studies. She's allowed to do everything
Yeah.
over women, but anything
Well-
dealing with the entire congregation, no.
My best friend in high school was Lutheran, and they had a head female pastor who spoke over the congregation. But that's the only time I've ever seen it. And I remember like feeling weird about it because that's not what the churches were like that I was in. And then I remember talking to my dad about it because like my best friend at the time had been like, well, if God calls her to be a pastor, who are you to say that she can't do that? And I remember being like, oh, that's a really good argument. And like taking it to my parents, and my dad being like, the Bible says women are not allowed to be pastors, which it does not say that. And God will not contradict himself. So if you're hearing something that's different than what my version of the Bible is, it's wrong. Yeah. So yeah, that's the only time I've ever experienced a female pastor.
Yeah, I've never seen I don't think I've ever experienced a female high pastor.
Yeah.
In my multiple years inside of church.
Right. So the next claim she talks about is this reckoning with purity culture. And the claim is like there's an overemphasis on sexual purity that lead many women to re-examine their faith, with messages of worth tied almost exclusively to modesty and abstinence rather than discipleship and spiritual formation. I liked that she addressed this because I do feel like the burden of purity is solely, in my experience, on women.
Correct.
And
girls.
But I feel like her reforming it into like discipleship and spiritual formation, it's not even, the church, in my opinion, is misogynistic.
It is.
I'm just gonna say that. And it's not even that they want to create disciples. It's not even that they want us to have these spiritual formations or anything like that. It's that we're just objects.
Yes.
The mentality is extremely prevalent in the church. And even when the nice guys want to date you and how they talk about you to your face, you're like, I'm not a human being to you at all.
Very much so. Like it's not about that. Honestly, we are just a pretty form of chattel.
Yeah.
To be blunt about it. It's not, let's make godly women that are going to hold positions in whatever organization or church, or if they decide to stay in the home, have a godly home.
Yeah.
Because who's the one raising the kids? The women. So they're the ones that are the start of the children's spiritual journey. It's not that. We are very much glorified chattel.
Yeah.
And like we'll get into purity culture and like our experiences of purity culture in a later episode. But
it'll probably be a few episodes.
Yeah.
There's so much.
There's
a lot to break down there.
But I do like that she addressed it, because purity culture was so devastating to many of us. But what I saw was that it was always, girls, you need a cover up. Like this dress that I'm wearing, for those of us that are those of you watching the actual video, this dress I'm wearing, I felt self-conscious wearing this dress, which is high collared, it's wide shoulder strap, like I'm not showing a lot of skin. Felt self-conscious
Yeah.
inside the church wearing this because I was being immodest, but it's a very modest dress.
Right.
So like it was a lot of pressure on that one for sure.
Yeah. And it's like, I feel like for me, in my experience, it really didn't matter what I wore. If a boy was looking at me, it was fucking my fault.
Oh, 100%. I mean, I feel like there was a time when we were at our first church, and you were covered.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it was like a long sleeve dress or a long sleeve shirt and a skirt, and you were wearing heels.
Yeah.
And someone made a comment.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm just as covered as she is. Why is there a problem with her?
Yeah.
And it was like, because you were a petite person.
Yeah.
And so I was like, what's the problem? I shut that down real quick.
Yeah. That's like, and I mean, I'm not like trying to like talk myself up or anything like that, but I do have like a very feminine body shape, and it was the bane of my existence growing up.
I remember you saying like, like, I hated it.
I wore my brother's hand-me-downs all through high school. Because to be honest, it was safer getting called a lesbian than it was anybody assuming that I was trying to get the boys to look at me.
Yeah.
And I feel like anytime I tried to be feminine, because I'm very feminine.
Yeah.
But that didn't come out until I stopped going to church.
Because even if you tried to even just look, like,
it was, who are you doing it for? You're trying to get attention. You're being a stumbling block. And it was like, it wasn't just even like single guys. I feel like the girls who fucking had boyfriends would come at me, and I was like, I just want to go to church, guys.
I just want to wear this outfit and not be persecuted for it.
Yeah. So purity culture is it's a whole thing, and I feel like it's more than just that our worth is tied to our modesty. It's that is our whole identity in the church's eyes.
100%. I actually, funny thing that you said that, there's actually a TikToker that I found recently. Can't remember her name at the moment, but she does Pastors Gone Wild. And it's just people that have commented on her videos about things that pastors have said to them as girls. And it's just like, oh, yeah, that is crazy. As a 4-year-old child being told that you have birthing hips.
Yeah.
How is that appropriate?
No, there's definitely a lot more to purity culture. Yes, that will be in a later episode.
Yes, for sure. We'll deep dive into that one.
But yeah. So the next one is changing relationship dynamics. This one I thought was really funny and interesting to me, because her claim is that the church traditionally has served as a dating pool, which I was like, Jesus. I mean, I guess there are, especially like young adult groups, that's 90% of those people are there for that. But young women are increasingly not looking for partners there or finding fewer options. In my opinion, this is a bold-faced lie. Look at me, men. Women want to date you. We want to be in relationships. We want husbands. I want a husband. I want children. If you're going to be a dick, I'm not going to put up with it. And so many, especially in the church, the red pill movement is insane, but I feel like a lot of young churchmen are fully influenced by the red pill movement.
Oh, 100%.
And it's not that they want wives who want to be, because I want to be a wife and a mother. But then they want you to go the extra mile and just give up your humanity and be allowed to say whatever they want. And I mean, like, these are men who are living with their mothers.
Yeah. They're living with their mothers there, and they're saying, I want a girl that's going to be at home, take care of the kids, take care of the home, not be outside, be quote unquote submissive, as the Bible says. Wives, be submissive to your husbands. Yeah, well, there's more to that verse. If you read on, husbands, you need to be treating your wives white. Don't get me started.
Not white.
Right. Correctly. And love them as Jesus loves the church. I don't see that happening.
No.
You're putting all this emphasis on women playing this certain role, but y'all men ain't doing it.
Yeah, there's no step up at all.
Sorry to call y'all out, and I know there's going to be people coming in my comments saying, not all men. Shut up. We're talking about this issue right here.
Yes. Yeah. Well, and like, it just to turn it around and be like, it's because women are too independent now. I'm like, we don't want to be. If we found a guy who could, if we could live off of one salary and raise our kids and take care of it, a lot of women would be happy with that still.
100%.
But if it takes being verbally abused, emotionally abused, sexually abused, because let's be honest, a lot of young men in the church don't know what rape actually is.
And the word no.
Yeah. And the definition of it, you know, and yeah, I was like, yes, there's a step down, but to turn around and be like, it's because women are too independent. No, it's because society has actually finally given women the opportunity to choose life that is unconnected from a man. And it's not that we want to be, but it's better to be by ourselves than to be abused
or left destitute.
Yeah.
Because if you really want to get into like that in our society here in America, before women could vote and have a job and any of that, and like that was most of what was only like 20, 30 years ago that we got access to some of these things. The men were the ones that were bringing in the money, but instead of them taking care of their families, they were out drinking, smoking, and whoring around, and left the wife and children destitute. They had absolutely nothing. So we finally fought for the vote and being able to work for ourselves, bringing in an income, making sure our family is taken care of.
Yeah.
Until you can get me to a point where I know that I can trust the man in my life is not going to leave me in the dust, I will step up and make sure that I have what I need.
Yeah.
And my family has what it needs.
Have you seen that clip online? It's like the guy who interviews people on the subways. And he's like, what's your hot take? And the girl goes, there's no such thing as an incel. Like, you're not involuntarily celibate. Like, you're choosing to be celibate because you just don't want to treat women nicely. And that's why you can't get laid. It's 100% true. Because we want those things. A lot of women want those things. We're not willing to sacrifice our humanity for it.
Exactly.
So
we could probably talk on this one issue for hours.
Yeah. But I don't know. I thought it was just interesting that like she addressed the issue, but then was like, but it's because women are too independent. And I was like, So close.
So close. You're like right there and then left her.
Yeah. Yeah. So the next statement she makes kind of ties into this. There's an outdated biblical manhood models. She says that many churches still emphasize a biblical manhood model that feels outdated, potentially making the church feel like a space where young women's needs and values are not reflected. Do you remember, did she say specifically what she believes the manhood model is, or does she just say that there is one?
I don't think she's did. I don't think there was an actual specific what the manhood model was. But if I had to take a guess,
Yeah.
It's that the females in the family are under their fathers until they go into their husband's household.
Yeah.
And if they don't have a father, then it's the older brother.
Right.
Or next of kin.
Yeah.
The oldest male next of kin. And to that extent, like, it makes sense. Yes, that is very outdated.
Yeah. And I feel like the biblical manhood model that I feel like the main thing that was emphasized growing up was just that the men should be the spiritual leaders of their households. And if this is outdated, it's because men are not stepping up as spiritual leaders of their households.
But they haven't.
Again, I feel like, because as Christian girls, we're all told to make a list. What is your ideal husband? We have a list. Anyway,
that we're supposed to pray for.
Yeah, ladies, please share your lists with us. We'd love to see that. But like, I remember like my main one being that I wanted a guy who was going to be the spiritual leader of my household, of my family, of our family. Because that's not what my dad was. My dad was not the spiritual leader. It was our mom, and I know that you feel that way too.
Because my parents divorced when I was third grade. The house, like me remembering the household, the person that made sure we got to church and the person that I was with most, the parent I was with most, was my mother.
Mm-hmm.
So she was honestly the spiritual leader.
Yeah.
Because when we had problems or anything, we went to her, and she's the one that would guide us through. Well, let's look at this biblically,
Mm-hmm.
and showing us the way we go. Like my father, I mean, he attended church, but honestly, I don't remember having spiritual conversations with him.
I definitely had a few with my dad, but they were always conversations that I started with him. And I feel that he was very easily swayed by my opinion. Like to the point where like I was a Calvinist before my parents, then my parents were Calvinists, and then I stopped being a Calvinist, and then my parents stopped being a Calvinist. And I mean, if you hear like why my dad became a Christian because he thought my mom was going to leave him. So it's not, I don't know. He kind of goes with whoever is the most dominant voice in the room, which tends to be my mother.
Yes.
So, but I would not say he was ever a spiritual leader. So I feel like that was also like hard. Maybe they should do a study on that, on like girls who grow up in families where the mother's spiritual leader, and see if there's connection on why we don't get picked by the boys and why we're always arguing with the pastors.
Honestly, though, like if we actually take a deep dive into, sorry, my crystals are clacking down here.
Good.
if we take a deep dive into the American family,
Yeah.
it was the women
Yeah.
that were pushing to go to church, you know,
Yeah.
to raising the kids in a spiritual way. You know, it was the women, the wives, that were making these decisions, not the men.
Yeah.
They were out doing the work, making the money, bringing it home. But it was the women that were
Making the home.
making the home.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. And everybody, if you want to look at what biblical women is, go read Psalms 31 again. I promise you will be surprised to find that she was the breadwinner. She is in that passage. It's her.
yeah, that chapter, she's the one that's making the money.
Yeah.
She's the one that's making sure, going to the market and making sure.
Yeah. Making the business deals. Yeah.
It's the woman, not the man.
Yeah.
So if you want to talk about breadwinners.
And I mean, if we just look at it historically, like when everywhere got colonized, when people would go in to do censuses, they were just marking down that women were unemployed. And that's why we have this idea that women haven't been working for thousands of years. It's a lie. Women have been working. Women have been making money. It's only been a very short period of time, and very wealthy women that have not had to go and get jobs. So, I think the biblical manhood model probably is not outdated. It's just very misinformed.
And probably very misinterpreted.
Yeah.
Honestly.
So,
and it's been worked by other men down the line. So,
yeah. So the last one is burnout and compassion fatigue. I didn't even register this. And then I read that and I was like, oh, that makes a lot of sense, actually. So her claim is that the expectation that women should be the church's built-in volunteer force is cracking. And then the pandemic accelerated this. So the claim is kind of that the pandemic gave women the excuse to leave, that they didn't have to keep volunteering. And then they just didn't return. Which I can definitely see a lot of women who don't have their voice yet being like, oh, this is my out, and just quietly fading away. That's not me, but I can definitely see that happening to a lot of other women.
Yeah. I don't think that spiritual, like the was it compassion fatigue?
Yeah.
Registered for me until like I read that and I was like, well, yeah, no, I did that.
Yeah.
I was there when we moved from our first church to our second church. As soon as I started attending second church, they approached me. I was like, Sarah, we would love you to be a student leader.
Yeah.
And I was like, nope.
Yeah.
Nope. Sarah's tired. She has put in a lot of work over the years.
Yeah.
A very thankless job. She's not going to do that no more.
Yeah.
I don't have the energy. It's like, y'all think I'm still 20 some years old. I'm in my 30s now. I'm tired.
Yeah. Well, it's like, I feel like there's this negative, like anytime somebody's like, I'm tired, I don't have anything left in my cup to pour out to others, because you can't pour from an empty cup.
Right.
But self-care is not seen as self-care. It's seen as pride, which is a sin.
Yeah.
And they kind of guilt you into it. They wanted me in the nursery, which I've worked with kids for 15 years now. I'm tired. I don't want to raise anybody else's kids. I've been raising people's kids my whole life, since I was a kid. And I remember, like, my mom made a big push for me to start babysitting because it looked more appealing to young Christian men. And now that's all my freaking resume is, and I can't get away from it. But I remember when we went to that second church, they really wanted me in the nursery. And I told them no. I told them, I was like, I don't want a phone call unless you called everybody else. And you've asked every parent who's dropping their kid off.
Yeah.
To take care of their kid.
Yeah.
But it was just like kind of assumed. It's like weird, the single young women, how often it's assumed that we're just going to take care of everybody else's kids.
Oh, yeah. Like, as I was a 30-year-old in our second church, and because I wasn't attached to somebody, it was assumed that I had all this time and energy and abundance that I could go hang out with other people's children instead of going to Sunday school and actually learning something. And I'm like,
yeah,
okay, what if I want to like build a family or something?
Yeah.
I don't have time and energy to come do this.
Yeah. Well, and do you remember what Skipper said to me that one Sunday?
Yes.
So there was this young pastor who had actually come from the old church to the new church. Like a lot of us young people did. And it was his oldest child, which I actually adore that little boy. He's so cute. But he was like 2 at the time and was very attached to mom and dad. And it was like one of the first Sundays they made him go to the nursery, and he just screamed the whole time. And then when they came and picked him up, I looked at Skipper and I was like, your kid just screamed at me the whole time. And he was like, oh, well, it's good practice for you for when you'll be a mom. And I was like, I've worked with kids for 12 years. I don't need your child screaming at me. I've had enough screaming. I've changed enough diapers. I've had enough spit up. I've been hit and clawed and you know, had hormonal arguments with older kids. I'm like, I didn't need your kid screaming. And not that I think he's trying to be mean or anything like that. Him and his wife are some of the most loving people I've ever met. But it was just like this assumption that I didn't need a thank you for taking care of his child, and that it's just what I was meant to be doing.
Yeah. I was like, oh, your assumption that everybody's going to go down that same path of getting married and having kids is.
Well, when he said that, I just kind of stared off into space, and Sarah was the one who was like, actually, she's worked with kids longer than you've been a father. So
I was like, she was working with kids when we were still volunteers. So
yeah,
she's been working with kids longer than we have.
Yeah. And I don't think that he meant to at all. But and then Sarah was just like,
because
he was like,
we were roommates at the time, and it was just like you were a nanny.
Yeah.
You know, day in and day out, you were raising other people's kids.
Yeah. And I didn't want to do it on the weekend.
Yeah. Well, we didn't want to do it when we went to church.
Yeah.
We would actually like to enjoy our community. But that's the funny thing is, I don't know if you remember this, after we left that church, you got an email or Facebook message, something from that pastor asking if you would be in the nursery.
Yeah, they send me emails all the time. Yeah. And I was like,
I left. Did you not realize I haven't been to your church in like 4 months?
Yeah. I wonder if he tried to text me. He was like one of the only people that I blocked. That pastor was one of the only people that I like blocked the number. Mm-hmm. But he used to text me like Sunday mornings if they couldn't get anybody else to come in. So I wonder if he tried texting me. The number was blocked, so it didn't go through.
Probably.
But with as many emails as I got after, probably like 3 to 6 months after we left, I'm sure he at least tried once. So
I just remember we were getting ready for a Sunday session, and it was like, guess what email I just got? I was like, long have we been gone?
Yeah.
It's almost spring. What's happening?
Yeah. Anyway, so yeah. So the last thing that she had kind of talked about is like, how can churches fix these issues? What do you think the answer to that is?
Honestly, I don't think they can.
Yeah.
Just from the personal experience, that until they actually start seeing women as people
Yeah.
and they get rid of anybody who is a predator
Yeah.
towards women in any way, shape, or form. Because I can tell you right now, there are so many men in leadership positions that make girls feel very uncomfortable
Mm-hmm.
and treat them as objects. And, you know, there's such a dark underside to so many churches, you know, people coming out being like, this pastor did this to me,
Mm-hmm.
and nothing's happening
Yeah.
until that dark side is revealed and purged.
Yeah.
And I mean purged, like kick them out.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a safe space for women or girls to grow up in. And until they make it a safe space and treat women as actual people and full grown, you know,
Yeah.
human beings who have emotions and feelings and thoughts, until they actually put us on the same level as men, it's not going to happen.
Yeah. Well, I think to baby step it, churches need to stop operating as businesses. I think if the government removed their tax exempts from being nonprofits, that would get a lot of very greedy people out of there really quick. It would mean that the people who are truly called to do this work
Mm-hmm.
would be truly called, because they wouldn't be making $7.5 million a year anymore. So I think that would be a big one, is just churches need to, even like the tiny church, you know, that second church that we were meeting in a middle school gym auditorium. It was not big.
Yeah.
But I know they were making a lot of money.
Oh, with the things that were, how fast that church expanded.
Yeah.
Because they put 3 other campuses.
Yeah. In a year.
Within a year.
Yeah.
Even though I'm pretty sure 2 of those campuses are, all 3 of the campuses distance themselves from that church.
Yeah.
They changed their name and everything.
Yeah.
So, but seeing how fast it grew, yeah, there was money coming in there.
Yeah.
For sure.
So I think that's number one. And then I had another thought, but it's gone now.
I don't know. Choo-choo train, go bye-bye.
Zoop. Gosh, I don't know what it was. It was something.
So, well, tax exempt is gone.
Mm-hmm.
That's gone. Then the actual people are going to be there that need to be there.
Oh, actually showing some gratitude for your volunteers.
There you
go. I mean, employees, yes, they should, but your volunteers, I mean, like, I was in the nursery for years. I started working in the nursery at Mega Church number 1. I was 11 years old. I was working with 3 and 4-year-olds. I was in there for 5 years. Not once did I get a thank you, ever. Because it was just assumed that people needed to do it, and then I was a kid.
Yeah.
You know?
The free labor.
Yeah, and that's something that really bothers me to this day, is just how much free labor people got out of me as a child. Because that's what it was.
Yeah. Same, dude. Like, thinking about how much I put in, like, at high school and beyond.
Yeah.
before I was on staff at Megachurch number 2. It was Sunday mornings, Wednesdays, Thursdays.
Yeah.
You know, and it was so much.
Yeah. And I mean, like, that's really a thank you when we did all of that stuff. That would have been
over so much. It would have meant a lot.
Yeah.
It would have meant not just every 6 months. We appreciate you.
Yeah. Here's some pizza.
Here's some pizza. Now let's talk about the meeting for this next, Sunday or whatever.
Yeah.
It would be nice to be like, these are our leaders and we who volunteer.
Yeah.
Let's do something for them or make sure that they're good, because there was so many times where I was like, I'm getting burnt out, guys.
Yeah.
They
didn't care.
They didn't care.
Because it was just what was expected. And like, not only was it expected, but it was just like, if we didn't do things exactly how they wanted. Like, I remember Mr. Grace got mad at me one time for not being happy and smiling. And I'm like, I'm here for free. Like, I think it was like one of the nights that we were like serving dinner to all the old people.
Mm-hmm.
And we're there for like 6 hours moving full trays of hot food.
Yeah.
And
they got them. These were nice dinners, mind you. We got pizza.
Yeah. And it was just like, and I mean, given I do have resting bitch face really bad, I do. But it was just like, I don't know, anytime I was there doing something for free and then I got
lip about it.
Yeah.
Because you didn't have a customer service face on.
Yeah, I was anyway. And I'm like, you could fucking say thank you and maybe things would be different. Maybe. But so that's my advice. I would say stop treating it as a business and say thank you. And those are pretty easy, guys.
That's just a baby step. Mine's throw everything out.
Sarah's like, we gotta refabricate society.
I'm a big picture girl. She's a small girl.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you for tuning in to Just Another Statistic. Each episode, we aim to explore the profound shifts that occur when we bravely step away from inherited beliefs and embrace new spiritual awakenings. This path from Christianity to witchcraft and spirituality is one of constant evolution, marked by unique turning points and deeply felt emotions.
We believe that every deconstructed, every spiritual discovery is a powerful story waiting to be told. If you've been on a similar path or are just beginning to ask the difficult questions, we invite you to share your personal journey with us, whether it's a specific moment of realization, a challenge you overcome, or a newfound sense of peace. Your story adds vital depth to this conversation. Send us an email at jastatistic@gmail.com or connect with us on social media at Just Another Statistic Podcast. We are on TikTok and Instagram as of the moment. We're curious about what you're struggling with and what you care about and how our podcast has inspired you.
Your voice matters, and by sharing it, you help build a vibrant community for those who might feel like outliers or just another statistic. Don't forget to follow our podcast and stay with us on this journey. And if this episode brought you value, please share it with someone who needs to hear it.
See you next time.
Bye, guys.